This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Electric cars had an impressive first quarter in the U.S. market. Automakers sold over 77,000 BEVs, up 38% compared to a year ago. They now account for nearly 2% of all new car sales. And almost every EV posted substantial gains, including the Chevrolet Bolt, Nissan Leaf, and BMW i3. The Porsche Taycan, Audi e-tron, and Hyundai Ioniq and Kona all saw massive gains. And new entries such as the Mustang Mach-E, Polestar 2, and Volvo XC40 Recharge added to the total. And as the traditional automakers posted EV gains in the first quarter, Tesla lost market share. Ward's Intelligence reports that while sales of the Model Y are soaring, sales of the Model S, X, and 3 are dropping. In fact, sales of the Model 3 fell 54% as it was cannibalized by the Model Y. A year ago, Tesla had 78% of the EV market in the U.S. Now it's at 61%. That's still a dominant position. But as more entrants come into the market, Tesla will lose more market share. That's just a fact. Speaking of electrics, Cadillac posted on LinkedIn that it's testing prototypes of the Lyriq, the electric SUV. The post was light on details, but we know the Lyriq will have 300 miles of range, 150 kilowatt fast charging, and a starting price below $60,000. It goes into production in the first quarter of 2022 at GM's plant in Spring Hill, Tennessee. GM will build electric SUVs at that plant for Chevrolet and GMC, and even one for Honda. The dispute between LG Energy Solutions and SK Innovation has some analysts worried that it could harm the U.S.'s battery supply chain. LG accused SK of stealing trade secrets, and the U.S. International Trade Commission agreed, ruling that SK can make batteries at a plant in Georgia that it's currently constructing for 4 years before it has to shut down. Ford and VW plan to use those batteries in its EVs. But SK threatened to pull its operations out of the U.S. if President Biden doesn't overturn the ITC's ruling. He has until April 11th to make a decision. Well, here's our Autoline insight. We don't think it matters that much because someone else can just come right in and buy up that plant. So there's no need to worry about whether or not Biden's decision will harm battery supplies.
We want to know what drives your testing. OTA, connected car, diagnostics, remote testing. Intrepid Control Systems is here to help you work from anywhere. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
Sports car sales are hard to come by these days, but the Toyota 86 and Subaru BRZ twins are living on for another generation. The all-new versions, which are scheduled to launch before the year is out, feature fresh styling, with the Subaru having a slightly happier face and the Toyota with front air curtains that flow over the edge of the bumper. In fact, we think those air curtains, along with the integrated rear spoiler, are styling cues picked up right from the Supra. As for the interior, it's still pretty basic, but features cockpit-like styling and a 7-inch display screen. The cars are practically identical in size to the outgoing models, but thanks to the use of aluminum and lightweighting efforts in the seats and exhaust, they're lighter than before. They're also more powerful too. A 2.4-liter engine replaces the old 2-liter unit and makes roughly 230 horsepower. It's paired exclusively with rear-wheel drive and either a 6-speed manual or automatic. Acceleration from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour is down by over a full second to 6.3 seconds. These were already fun cars to toss around on the road, but with a 50% improvement on torsional rigidity, along with the other upgrades, we can't wait to get in and drive them. Mercedes' flagship electric vehicle, the EQS, launches soon in August, so more details are trickling in. It rides on a rear-wheel drive-based platform, but also has the option for all-wheel drive, which places an extra electric motor on the front axle. The more powerful setup combines for a total system output of 385 kilowatts. Two battery sizes are available, 90 or 107.8 kilowatt hours, which come with either pouch or hard case cells. The larger pack is said to return 770 kilometers of range on the WLTP test cycle, which is about 478 miles. If the smaller pack is equally as efficient, it should return somewhere in the range of 640 kilometers or about 400 miles. The electrical system is based on a 400-volt architecture, which allows the EQS to add up to 300 kilometers or about 186 miles of range in 15 minutes. And speaking of EVs, the SUV version of the Hummer EV debuted this weekend. We've only got a few things to talk about since it's pretty much identical to the truck. But one of the biggest differences is the wheelbase. The SUV is nearly 9 inches shorter than the truck. That also greatly reduces its turning radius, almost a full 1.5 feet less than the truck. And the SUV's pricing is about the same as the truck as well.
Automated and autonomous driving are important developments that help make the traffic of the future safer, more efficient, and more comfortable. We are ZF.
The world is changing at an ever-increasing pace. No matter what the mode of transportation, there is always the need for an efficient propulsion system. And that's exactly what BorgWarner has been doing since the earliest days of the automotive industry.
When it comes to the world of autonomous cars, it looks like Argo AI is taking a step forward while Waymo is taking a step back. Argo is reportedly going to go public this year through either an IPO or a SPAC. The company is already valued at $7 billion, thanks to investments from Ford, Volkswagen, and others. Meanwhile, Waymo's CEO John Krafcik told employees in a company blog that he decided to step down and let others run the company. Those others are Dmitry Dolgov and Tekadra Mawakana, who will be co-CEOs of Waymo. With Krafcik, the company commercialized autonomous ride-hailing in Phoenix and raised over $3 billion from outside investors. Krafcik will continue as an advisor to Waymo. You know, it takes about 3 years to develop a new car. And one of the reasons it takes that long is that automakers actually schedule it to take that long. And on Autoline After Hours, Carl Ludvigsen and Jim Hall talked about the benefits of putting designers under a tight schedule.
The Golf, it came a little late-ish, but
Right.
but it came just barely in time, and it was a quite a successful car, of course, in its way, and we still have Golfs. I mean, they've managed to keep that franchise alive ever since Giugiaro's first effort. He says in my book, he says I had 3 months to do the Golf, the Scirocco, and one other car. I can't remember what it was.
Was it the Passat, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was another Passat, exactly. So they launched this whole group of cars, and he said I had 3 months to do it, and this just shows how valuable it can be to not have very much time to do something because it's not messed about.
Yeah.
It's not messed about. They're clear, sharp cars. They're really good. So I think
one of the problems with design is there's a point at which you're supposed to lift the pen and walk away.
That's right. Sometimes
instead,
that doesn't happen.
They just keep sketching and keep going, and it's being optimized, and it's actually being overdone. And this is, it's my contention, this is now the common way cars are designed, and I would suggest it's because of the design tools that designers are using. It's digital.
There's a lot of great information about design in that show. And this coming Thursday, our guest on Autoline After Hours is Matt Brugman, the CEO of Flex Mopeds. Those things are electric, and he wants to blow the market for micro-mobility wide open. Join John and Gary to find out how he plans to do that. But that wraps up today's show. Thanks for watching.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. Borg Warner, propulsion solutions that support a clean, energy-efficient world. And by ZF. ZF, driving intelligence for software-defined vehicles and transforming next-generation mobility.